Hey guys, so today I just want to talk about identification. So, identification is when you identify yourself with all the impressions and memories that you have had since you were born. So, these impressions, you were born and you grew a little bit, and people told you your name is Michael, for instance. And now you think, okay, I'm Michael, and you are white, and maybe you belong to a certain culture. Maybe you're like Albanian or Balkanese or something. And as you grow up, this identification with your culture, it, let's actually steer that around and get to a more base level. So, identification is the ego, it is the identity. Your ego is what you think about yourself and what you think about the world in comparison to yourself. And so, this comparison in Hinduism is known as duality. Because there is dark, um, or because there is light, absence of light is dark, complete emptiness. As I said in a previous video, emptiness is the vacuum. It is what surrounds everything, what is inside of every empty space. And so naturally, emptiness is your consciousness. But when you add energy or light into the equation, now this is just at the base level. So when you add light into the equation, there is some contrast. There's dark and there's light. There's a big contrast. And this contrast is duality. It is comparison. Comparing yourself to the world, comparing yourself to what you see, what you smell, what you hear. And so this contrast, what it does is it separates things into good and bad, light and dark, male and female, which is a good boundary. Of course, we should keep those labels, male and female. But I just want to explain that the ego is what you think of yourself and what you think of the world and how you think of yourself in comparison to other people. And how does this limit you? So when you have a very strong self-image, I am Quinn, I'm 6'5", I'm handsome. This is the image that you have of yourself. And then someone challenges that image. Hey, Quinn, you're ugly. Now, this image of me shatters for a moment because an opposing opinion has just hit my ego, my fragile mirror that I reflect everything through. And so you become very vulnerable the stronger your image is, the stronger your identification is with this image, with your culture, with who you think you are. And so I want to encourage you to realize that you are nobody. In this universe, you are a microspeck, a super tiny speck, and you will have absolutely no impact on the greater scene of things, okay? Now, I'm not saying what you do here is meaningless, because meaning is derived from your experience. Meaning and what is real is something that can be experienced. So this life is very profound. So I'm not saying that just because you're a microspeck that your life means nothing. This is not true. You can make an immense impact in the lives of people who do not understand that they are just a microspeck. They have become larger than life, in fact, and they think that they are the only person in the world, really. You see selfish people, they will do anything to further their goals, and narcissists as well. They can never be wrong because they cannot accept that someone is better than them or that someone knows more than them. So I encourage you to realize that you are a fool, that you truly know nothing. If you just look at your hand, you just look at your hand and you stare at it for a moment, you will begin to realize you have no idea how it really works on a cellular level, how it is really structured, how are the electric signals moving for your hand to open and close. Is it your consciousness? Is it your spirit? We don't know. Okay, so realize that you are truly a fool and that you understand nothing in its entirety. Because in order to understand something from its entirety, you have to be empty. As soon as you identify with the energy, which is your apparatus for living, your body and your mind, as soon as you identify with these things, you begin to think that your body and your mind are you. You begin to think that they are who you are. And this is not true. Who we are is consciousness. Consciousness is that which is not. Consciousness is lack of energy and also the source of all energy. And so, if energy had to come from someplace, it had to come from consciousness, from nowhere, from emptiness. It had to emerge from some place if it did not always exist. And so, getting to my point, when you identify with this body and mind, you become very vulnerable. Because as soon as I hit you, or as soon as I insult you, mentally, you break. You have no control over the reaction that you have. And so, the more that you begin to tell yourself that I am a fool, then this is not a degrading, self-degrading process. This is a self-empowering process because you are making yourself more receptive to knowledge. A person who thinks he knows everything will not listen. They will only speak. And if you've ever had a conversation with someone and you realized you didn't, or you weren't letting them speak, and you thought that you knew more than them, you can simply observe them and see that they're losing respect for you. They are not enjoying the conversation. If you even just have that mentality that I am a fool, you will listen to everyone and people will respond to you in a different way, even if they don't know more than what you know. But simply because you listen to them. And I'm not saying you have to listen to anyone or everyone. You don't have to give your attention or energy to anyone that you wouldn't like to. But if you simply begin to listen to people and instead of explaining, you're just listening. Everything that they say, if you can pull some knowledge from that, then that is, a possibility. That's a great thing. And if you cannot, then you cannot. But you don't need to interject because you are a fool. How could you teach someone if you have not realized yet? Realize that there is a truth which you have not realized. You do not understand your nature. But the goal of consciousness, the goal of human life is to understand our true nature, or the goal of all life on the planet. And that is why evolution happens. The virus turns, we start out as a small microorganism and we enter into a lake and we're drawing minerals and vitamins from the lake until we get, maybe we become an insect or a virus or a parasite and we enter maybe an animal and we draw nutrients from that animal. What do you think a parasite is? It is something which is taking from around itself. It is accumulating energy from other things, just as you do by eating, just as animals do by eating. And this is how evolution happens. Every time you are grasping memory from another place and you are receptive, you are getting closer to your true nature. And this is why animals slowly become more vertebrate. It is as if they are like a control tower, and they start out as this flat thing that can only see what is in front of it. And as they become more vertebrate, they become more intelligent because they can begin to look up. And when you look up, you physically become more receptive, because looking up gives you the ability to see that what is right in front of you is not all there is. That's all for today.